So, certainly not complaining. It's been a long stretch the last 3 months with moving everyone to work remotely, securely, was a challenge. And the challenges don't end. They just keep on coming. And people say, well, Scott, why is that happening? Why do these things keep going on? Listen, everyone's a target. And what do I mean by that? We got a phone call this week. It was a not-for-profit. It was a charity. And they've been hacked hard. The bad guys have gotten into their email. They were using Office 365 during discussions. Turns out they weren't using very secure passwords. It was passwords that they'd used elsewhere. Now, there's more to the story that must be going on because the bad guys got on the computers and they're taking control. They basically locked the nonprofit out of all their systems, including their internet service. It's a very bizarre situation, and I don't have all the details. I was asked by the local bank to give them a call to try to give them some advice. The bank knew that they weren't a fit, but they didn't know who else to try to help guide them. So we gave them a ring. But the point of the story is, the bad guys, it's a numbers game. If you're in business and you have sales, you know it's a numbers game. Well, that's what the bad guys know. They send out as many fake emails, they'll send out as many fake text messages, as many fake social media posts as possible to try to fool people into clicking, into gaining access. Then once they're in, now they start trying to do what they do best, which is monetize their access. How do they do that? Well, as I said to this nonprofit, I said, okay, they were like, why would a hacker come after a nonprofit? We don't really have any money. I said, okay, yeah, I understand that. Gotcha. But what information did you have on your computers? Oh, goodness, we had a lot of important information, a lot of private information, a lot of information about our clients that we help. I said, well, that's why they're doing it, because they know it's important to you. May not be important to them. Maybe they can monetize it, maybe they can't. Depends what type of hacker it is and what they're focusing on. But they know if they get in, you're important, your information is important to you, and they know that you're going to take measures to try to keep it or get access back to it. This is why ransomware became such a thing. They get in, they lock the files, and they say, hey, pay me some money if you want to get access back into your files. Why do they do that? Because they know you want back in. They know you want your money. So that's why you need to be taking precautions to protect against these kind of things. So right now I'm walking through Nature Trail. As I mentioned, the last 3 months have been very, very busy. Our province where I'm at is loosening up some of the restrictions around COVID. And my wife and I decided to take a little weekend together and visit one of the resort areas in our spot. So I'm walking on what's called Minister's Island. It's Canada's largest tidal island. When the tide goes down, you can actually come across the land. They call it the bar. You can actually drive across or walk across. Then when the tide comes up, it's an island because it gets waterlocked again. So I just wanted to pass along the reason for this talk or this rant is the fact that if the bad guys will go after a nonprofit, and they've been into the systems, they know what's there. They've taken a look. They've already offloaded stuff from the discussions and the messages that they're seeing. But they're doing it because they know that information is important to that nonprofit. They know there's probably things that they can monetize out of that information, whether that's people's addresses, try to do identity theft, if there's passwords, whatever the case may be. I don't know what information's in there. I didn't get a chance to look, and I wasn't told. All I know is the information was important to them. And now the bad guys have it. And that's why we all need to be taking some basic precautions. We need to be trying to prevent them from getting in to begin with. We need to have some detection methods in place. And this is where a lot of people are lacking. You can have antivirus. You can have firewalls. Great. Are you training your employees and staff to be on the lookout? If someone happens to click something wrong, do you have anything to detect that the bad guys are in? Law enforcement says it's 200 days. From the time bad guys get in until they're discovered, on average, it's 200 days. They can do a lot of damage during that time. So you need to have some detection systems in place. And then you have to have response. You need to be able to respond. You need to be able to recover. You know, the last lines of defense are a good business continuity, backup solution, and cyber insurance, right? This is becoming a big thing. If your business is down and you've been hit, let's say you have been compromised And according to, depending where you're at in the world, there's a lot of government laws now. You've got to notify those people whose records you have that have been compromised. There's cost to lawyers. There's cost of having to notify. There's cost of having to do credit monitoring. The list goes on and on and on. So if you do have cyber insurance, great. Make sure to check your policy. I've talked to people that go, yeah, I got cyber insurance. We're covered for $50,000. Folks, I'm sorry. If you get hit and it's a serious event, chances are $50,000 drop in a bucket. That may not even pay for someone like me to come in and fix the initial remediation of the issue, let alone all the rest of the stuff that has to go along. All right, well, hopefully you've enjoyed kind of taking a walk down this nature trail. I'm calling this Staycation 2020 as we stay within the boundaries of our province, or for my American friends, it'd be like calling it a state, and try to unwind during these interesting and troubling times. You know, cybersecurity is the second pandemic. We know we got to take care of our physical, but we also have to take care of our cyber, especially with all the people working from home. Now, security is even more important. You certainly don't want to be letting those home computers on your corporate network. Who knows what you're letting in. Kids using computers. Oh, that's another whole video. Don't get me going. We'll do that on another one. Anyways, thanks for joining me. Scott on Security. We'll talk to you soon.